So I want to start this video by saying this is not me jumping on a bandwagon for views or drama or, the usual dumb stuff YouTubers do so people will watch the video. I just genuinely want to have a casual ramble about Bethesda. Not even Starfield, just Bethesda Game Studios. Elder Scrolls and Fallout make up about 90% of this channel, and I've been a fan of them for as long as I can remember, so naturally I just want to chat about it. And by it, I mean their decisions as a company, and their rather strange relationship with their audience. Because I was just thinking the other day, Bethesda are in such a unique position. Like usually if a games company put out a game that was as a complete disaster as Fallout 76, they'd be done. I'm pretty sure BioWare released Anthem a few months after 76 and it completely destroyed them as a company. I mean there was a lot more poor management going on there, but if you mention BioWare, most people are like, oh yeah, I loved Mass Effect and Dragon Age, but I have zero faith in modern BioWare and I don't really think about it. Yet Bethesda, after releasing Fallout 76, putting it on their terrible launcher, botching their scummy refund system, keeping all the overpriced items, and then having the audacity to release a paid subscription for it? After all that, people still rooted for them. You know what? Including me. I mean, like most, I called Bethesda out for their terrible choices, but I still rooted for them in their future projects. And you know what? I still want to. When you listen to Todd talk and think about all the great memories made with their old games, it's hard not to support them, especially when the Elder Scrolls 6 always seems just out of reach. And yet, despite having a huge fan base who desperately wants to cheer them on no matter what mistakes they've made, Bethesda keeps making these stupid decisions and it makes it so difficult to keep supporting them. And they're reaching the point where discussions about Bethesda have ended up being negative the vast majority of the time, even within the fan base. I mean, just look at 5 years ago, people seemed just as hyped for the Elder Scrolls 6 as they were for a new Grand Theft Auto. And now whenever the Elder Scrolls 6 is mentioned, everyone just has doubt. And what's so annoying is Bethesda could have ridden that hype, hire thousands of new employees and focused on Elder Scrolls, and they probably would have been one of the only studios to rival Rockstar Games. Like I'm pretty sure Rockstar have over 5,000 people working there, and are spending billions on creating GTA 6. The scale is unheard of in the games industry. And yet I truly believe Bethesda could have met that level if they really tried. I'm not saying Rockstar is perfect by any means. They're just a good example of the heights I think Bethesda could reach, but instead we deal with them releasing games with average reviews, and releasing paid mod updates for 13-year-old Skyrim. Oh, and actually with the point of mediocre games, I do want to say that I've not properly played Starfield yet because it runs terribly on my PC. So I'm actually not trying to judge the game until I give it a proper go. I don't like to assume something's bad without giving it a fair shot, so I don't know, maybe I'll really enjoy it. I truly hope so. But of course, with everyone talking about... Oh, that's my cat purring you can hear. But of course, with everyone talking about Starfield, I've seen enough where I can confidently say Bethesda can do better. Like even for people loving the game, I think most still agree Bethesda could try harder in a lot of areas. And that's the painful thing with this, and why everyone keeps talking about it. We all know they're capable of doing better. Unlike some other studios, I don't look at Bethesda and see a lost cause. In fact, for how popular they are, they actually haven't changed much since 2011. For better or for worse. I can see that if they make some smart decisions, they could recapture the lightning in a bottle, and make the Elder Scrolls 6 just as good as Skyrim. But that's the thing, they gotta make smart decisions. And it's been a while since we've seen those. And that reminds me, it's not like Microsoft are controlling Bethesda like a puppet on a string. When the Skyrim paid mod update released, I saw so many people blaming Microsoft for being greedy, but it's like, do you not remember Bethesda tried doing this exact same thing with Creation Club back in 2017? Ignoring all the other money-grabbing choices they've made. They've been making sketchy business moves for a while, and it's pretty depressing. I mean, you could even chart it back to their infamous Horse Armor DLC in Oblivion. It's easy to forget this is what Bethesda have been for a while. Especially when you see that as a company, the passion is there. When Todd gives an interview, I don't see a businessman trying to make money. He seems like someone who actually cares about what he's making. And you look at all their behind the scenes stuff and it always seems so wholesome. But when you really think about it, it's like, damn, despite all that, they've been insulting their customers for a long while now. I think I want to wrap up this ramble by talking about Bethesda's future. Because I stick by what I said. I don't think they're a lost cause. I'm seeing a lot of people say they're done with Bethesda and feel confident they'll never make a great game again. And honestly, that's valid. Like yeah, if you've not enjoyed Starfield or Fallout 76, or even Fallout 4, then yeah, of course you'd have that opinion. And the stupid updates releasing for Skyrim are the cherry on top. However, for me, while I am fed up with the studio and have come to expect the worst, I do still see a sliver of hope, although they need to start acting fast if they want that to stay. Bethesda have their formula. Their games are always instantly recognisable, so if they take that, build Elder Scrolls 6 in a world that's the same size as Skyrim, using their team that's now about 4 times the size to polish it, it can be a great game. They've chosen to stay a relatively small AAA studio, and while I think that's a mistake, at this point they need to just commit to it. And so if I start seeing stuff like the Elder Scrolls 6 will be 10 times the size of Skyrim, I'm just going to roll my eyes because it's overambitious. I think a perfect example of what they could achieve is what Larian Studios have just done. They've released Baldur's Gate 3, and I see a lot of people saying, wow, how did this indie studio create something so much better than Starfield? Without realising that they have pretty much the same amount of employees, around 500 I think. But why Baldur's Gate works is because it's so focused. The game on paper seems overambitious, but actually it's just that Larian really focused on dialogue, choices and the combat system. There's no in-depth crafting, base building and all the usual side stuff that can bloat a game. That lack of focus is a problem I think modern Bethesda games have, as they seem to enjoy saying, our games have everything, you can do whatever you want in this world. Which sounds good on paper, but in reality it makes the game pretty shallow. And my next concern with Bethesda's future, they got to change how they respond to feedback. It already felt like they don't listen to their audience much, and when those responses to Steam reviews started coming out, it just confirmed it. I'm talking about those dev responses to negative reviews where they say stuff like, space is meant to be empty and not filled with much, so you should enjoy it. God, it is painful to read. But yeah, if they paid attention to all the complaints people have, they would realise that many of them are things they can actually fix. Oh no, my kitten just drank my coffee. Oh no. Anyway, I was saying, while people enjoy jumping on a hate train and saying unreasonable things, there is a lot of wise feedback about Starfield that I've seen. And sure, maybe it's too much to change now the game's released. It's all stuff that could absolutely be applied to their next game. But will it be? I don't know. They seem to ignore feedback and seem to intentionally make shallow games so that the modding community can fill it out. Starfield's paid modding system will likely be out in a couple months, and you know they're going to push that hard. And I have a sneaking suspicion they'll barely patch the game in the future because, well, why spend time making this new system when someone's made a mod for it on our store? So yeah, they need to listen to feedback, stop insulting their customers, and not be so overambitious. I say I still have a sliver of hope because they're all completely manageable things. But of course, whether or not Bethesda will actually act on them, I don't know. You'd like to think Starfield getting mixed reviews and being snubbed from award shows would be a big wake-up call, but who knows. That about wraps things up. I don't really have a point, I just felt like rambling about it. Cause you know, I care about these games and I just want something that I can play and think, well done Todd, you did it again. And let me know in the comments how you're feeling about Bethesda, and really think about it. I get a lot of comments that are just, Bethesda is bad, Microsoft is bad, they are evil, without actually saying like, why do you believe that? Anyway, thanks for listening to my ramble. Farewell, and stay beautiful. Mwah.